Mic check. 1, 2. Are we recording? Hi, I'm Michelle Bernstein, an award-winning chef, restaurateur, and mom. I have a lot on my plate, including my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. That's why I was prescribed Cosentyx. It helps me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
If you are interested in supporting this podcast and at the same time getting all my episodes ad-free, then please head to my website, 3dprintingbasicspod.com. Again, that's 3dprintingbasicspod.com. There you can find all the links to support me, my affiliate links, and as a perk, you can get all my episodes ad-free if you subscribe on Patreon, Spotify, or Apple Music. Again, all my links will be there, as well as a contact form if you have any questions. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome back to 3D Printing Basics. This is episode number 65, and in this week's episode, we are going to be going over copyright sharing and licenses on file sharing platforms like Thingiverse, Cults3D, MyMiniFactory, Printables.com, and we're going to be going over all of those. Like I said, what they mean, what you can learn from them, and we're going to make sure that you are aware of what the different copyrights mean so that you know what you're doing and don't give yourself any kind of legal trouble. So I think the most important thing to first state is that all of these different file sharing platforms, they kind of have different copyright versions of what they mean. I've seen Printables.com with different ideas. I haven't even found copyrights under different file sharing platforms. Thingiverse is definitely the most clear. They have their 4 different or 5 different copyright licenses and what they mean. And they really spell it out for you, which is super nice. But not all file sharing platforms do that. So it's important to know that any 3D model that is posted online that you can download, if you're looking to sell them, you cannot do it. 3D models are protected by copyright law by default. So even if you don't see a copyright license anywhere, unless it's explicitly stated somewhere that you can sell them or that you can remix them and sell them, just assume that they are not able to be sold so that you don't get yourself in any kind of legal trouble. And that's kind of the most important thing to think of when you're looking for this, because, you know, even someone like myself, I do have my own Etsy store, but I do not look for files online to personally sell. I'll see some every now and again and I'll draw inspiration, but I make sure to never ever just straight download a file or even modify a file that I see and then repost it, because I know that usually can come back to haunt me, especially I've been doing this for a long time. It's been about 5 years now that I've been selling on Etsy, so I really don't want something that I accidentally did 5 years ago to come back now and really cause a lot of pain and headache and legal trouble for me. This episode is brought to you by PCBWay. Ready to take your electronics projects to the next level? PCBWay offers everything you need, from custom PCBs to 3D printing and even CNC machining, all under one roof. They're trusted by engineers and makers worldwide for their exceptional quality and fast turnaround. And here's a special deal for listeners of 3D Printing Basics. Use the promo code 3DPrinting2, SQUARED, to get $10 off your first order. Start your next project with PCBWay and see the difference for yourself. Head over to PCBWay.com today. So that's kind of lesson number 1, is just assume that everything is under copyright by default. But there are different versions of copyright licenses, and this is called the Creative Commons licenses. This is most common on Thingiverse. I have seen this on Thingiverse. Under every single file, they have their different versions. There's about 4 or 5 versions, and let me just go through them here. So the Creative Commons licenses, they are as followed. They'll be listed as CC BY, which means you can remix it, distribute it, and even sell it as long as you give credit to the original creator, which means if you want to download this and, for example, sell it on Etsy, sell it on eBay, then you can do that, but only once you have in the description somewhere attributed the original creator. So you have to say this is directly inspired by, or this was originally created by so-and-so. So make sure if you see that you have to give proper credit to the original creator. Then you have CC BY-SA, which is the exact same thing as the first one we mentioned, but your remix must also be shared under the same license. So, for example, if you download somebody's file and then you decide to change it up a little bit, modify some things here or there, make it a little bit better in your eyes, and then sell it, you also have to share the file under the same exact license of people can remix it, distribute it, and even sell it as long as you give credit. And this kind of prevents people from stealing other people's ideas, modifying them slightly, and then keeping the sales or the profits all to themselves. This kind of promotes the open source capabilities that 3D printing was built under, the same open source ideas, and just another reason why I love the 3D printing community, the open sourceness of everything. You know, no one thing is too big for one person. Everything can be shared, and that's just something that I really enjoy. The next license is called CC BY-NC, which means you can remix and share it, but it is not for commercial use, meaning you cannot sell it. So it's exactly what it sounds like. You can download the file. You can make changes for whatever. If you're printing, this is perfect for like game pieces. I think you're going to see a lot of that. If you have some game pieces that you may be missing from your game and you found some online and you want to remake it, you can print it for yourself. You just cannot sell it online or to other people. And the next one is CC BY-ND, which means you can use it, but you cannot change the design. And that's kind of a little bit of a gray area. I'm not totally sure how that gets policed or governed there. But officially, it just means that you can download the design and you can print its exact replica, but theoretically, you can't change it at all. You can probably redesign it by being inspired by it as long as you redesign it from your own scratch hands. But other than that, you can't actually change it yourself. And then the last one, which I think is kind of the most important one, is CC0, which means no rights reserved. You can do whatever you want. There is no credit needed. And if you're looking to sell other people's creations, this is the copyright license that you want to look for. You want to look for the CC0 and the CC BY, because those ones you can sell and you won't get in trouble. Personally, even if you see a CC0, I think that you should still give credit to the original creator. It's just kind of the right thing to do. But if you see that, you don't necessarily have to do that, and you can do whatever you want. You can sell it, you can change it, you can do anything that you please to said file. And that's kind of the main Creative Commons licenses that you're going to see. And like it says, non-commercial is often misunderstood. Even putting a printed model in a YouTube video or on an Etsy shop, like I've been saying, it might be considered commercial. So make sure if you see these licenses, you follow them exactly to the letter so that you avoid any kind of legal trouble down the line. Because I would just hate for somebody to kind of misread a Creative Commons license when they first get started, and then 10 years down the line, they've made a ton of money, and just now the original creator from 10 years ago is coming back to kind of get them. So that's why I believe it's important to look at copyright licenses and make sure that everything is done by the book, and make sure you're not making any mistakes there. And thankfully, a lot of these sites do make it really easy to find these licenses. They'll have some either icons, or they'll have it just straight listed with the bullet points of what you can and cannot do. But there are some websites out there that will not show you and kind of leave you to fend for yourself there. But like I said, most websites that you find these file sharing platforms on, they do have it nicely listed. So you're not really going to be confused here and there, but it is important to make sure that you can understand all the licenses and what they mean. And with that being said, I think that's just about all that I have for you guys today. I wanted to make this episode because I almost got in trouble with some Creative Commons licenses about a year or two ago. Thankfully, I was able to avoid any kind of legal action and get everything corrected with the original creator of the design. So like I said, I have personal experience in this area, and I know just as well as anybody how important it is to kind of stay on top of things and make sure that you're reading all the fine print and all the licenses to make sure that you don't get yourself in any trouble down the line. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate everybody who listens to the podcast. It really means the world to me. We're about to hit a really huge milestone. I'm not actually sure if I can announce numbers on the podcast. I haven't heard any other podcasters do it, so I don't think I will. But we're about to hit a really huge milestone, which is something that I never would have expected that we could ever hit in my time since I created this podcast. And to be 65 episodes into it and still getting really positive feedback and really good engagement, it just means the world to me. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any ideas for me, there's going to be links in the description where you can fill out forms. Let me know, have any questions, anything like that. So like I said, thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.